were giving out a lot of like refreshments and food items during this entire election. What was your hopes in doing that for the students?
I realized once we would be in the media room that it wouldn't be catered or anything, and I just took some spare cash and bought a bunch of caramel and apple cider and snacks. Probably have a Reese's cup still in my pocket somewhere that I haven't pulled out of my strategic reserve yet. So.
But what was your hopes in doing that, especially for the students?
Celebrating a Clinton victory, actually. I thought we'd be toasting. It'd be a bit like champagne. I guess I should have brought rum instead. Can you keep that in there? Oh, you can? Okay.
So with that said, how are your feelings now with how it's turning out?
Gassed, confused, definitely realizing I myself, even as a centrist, white Christian male, all that, I really underestimated or got overconfident in other areas what other parts of the country were feeling.
So, why do you think the campaign has been so vitriolic? Why are people so pissed off? Why are people mad?
The cultural divides have emerged as a substitute for what's really a big economic and educational divide. And of course, people without the understanding of foreign policy, the macroeconomy, without the ability to comprehend that, they have substituted an us against them based around ethnic blocks, gender blocks, cultural blocks that are very much constructed out of a media bubble that is alt-right, far-right, corporate spin. I'm still a centrist at heart, but that's nothing I ever signed up for.
With that said, you said you're a centrist. What's your hopes after the election? You mentioned that you have a potential job opportunity. What's your involvement in politics?
Yeah. Well, full disclosure, I currently intern at the office of Todd Young at his Bloomington district office. I am still hoping that I could get a job offer to work in either an Indianapolis district office for Senator Young or even work in D.C. for him. But I'm on the macro scale, I'm just so apprehensive about the idea of working for a Republican Congress told where to go by a President Trump with a Republican House. I'm apprehensive about it, but knowing myself, having overcome a big apprehensive feeling about a career move before, I'll stick with it, I guess, or I'll work in some form of the federal government because I have to, because they're paying for my schooling through IU.
And then to wrap it up, are you hopeful for these next 4 years? How are you feeling, right now? What are your feelings about just like now and the next 4 years?
This is why I should be involved in policy and research and not campaigning. I did not make plans for this scenario, and I guess it's going to depend a lot on how Mr. Trump responds to this, and how his supporters respond to this. There's going to be a lot of gloating and a lot of renewed vitriol, bigotry, a lot of in-your-face, taking the country back. And I'm not hopeful about how that will go. I am hopeful in the sense that a more qualified Vice President Pence might actually be better at running things behind the scenes, knowing that the weird offer the Trump campaign made Kasich for Pence might take on that role. And I will have to see what the Democrats offer up in 4 years. It's hard to see how that could be something I wouldn't vote for if Trump governs the way he's been acting. But it's been quite a wild ride, and definitely kept me up at nights a bit, and more on behalf of others than myself. Again, I'll be fine. I have to work for the federal government. They're going to guide me into that, whether it's Capitol Hill or the State Department or Treasury. But I'm definitely concerned for others and the ripple effects, even if Trump is kept in check somehow by outside forces or his the people he surrounds himself with.
And so, and last question, how would you describe this room and how the viewing party started? If you could put in your own words, like just like describing how it started and kind of the mood that shifted throughout the night. How has this viewing party kind of been? If you could describe it, like.
Yeah. Overconfident, cocky, unaware of, I guess, just how much they'd misunderstood or misunderestimated the stereotypes about Trump's support. And what, really it was the people I know and like a lot and think are really smart and have trusted a lot, even as we've disagreed politically. They were really the first to know something was up when it took quite a while for Virginia to go Clinton's way, and I was starting to raise my eyebrows too. And then as the night drug on, people went from going, huh, to, oh, come on, frustrated, and then seriously concerned, and now people are scared. I don't know if I feel the same sense of scaredness for myself. Trump never said anything that targeted me, but I've never voted on the whole thing of your best interests. That's a zero-sum way of thinking, and I have always voted for what I think will be best for my county, state, country, and the world, of which we are a crucial part. I think people will start to adjust to the concept as the unthinkable becomes inevitable. There will be more unfriendings and more arguments over Thanksgiving and freakouts, and I think people will actually start to move to Canada. I really think that's going to happen this year.
The website crashed. Did you see that? The website crashed. The immigration.
Which,
yeah.
Well, I'm stuck here, so. And
Right.
America, you're stuck with me for, I guess, another 4 years.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Hey,
for
thank
talking
you,
with me.
Emma.